So this is a moment to take a behind-the-scenes look at what goes on with the piano before it even reaches the stage so that an artist can work with it. And pianos are really interesting because they're the only instrument, if you think about it, that an artist cannot tune themselves. And granted, there are a lot of instruments that artists, of course, can't do mechanical repairs or things like that, but every other instrument can be tuned by the artists themselves and worked on to some extent, except for a piano. So the relationship between a piano tech and an artist is actually very unique. So this is a little bit about what goes on with the piano. The first thing we really think about is the touch. And there are many different aspects to the touch of which can be regulated. And there are essentially 40 different steps which we go through as piano techs to regulate a piano. And that can be something where maybe an artist would want it a little bit slower or a little bit more melodic feeling or a little bit faster or jumpier. And all those things go into very specific mechanical movements of small screws and things like that to change the touch. And then after the touch, and the 40 elements are actually between when you actually depress the key and you have a sound by hitting the string. So the second element is the tone. And the tone is a wide variety of what different artists may want. And the tone can be bright, it could be very mellow, it could be very full, it could be robust, it could be even glassy. And there are many different things of using chemicals and needles that we work with the hammer to actually change the tonal characteristic. What's super curious about that is that the relationship between the tone and the touch are very much interrelated. Because if you have a piano, say for example, that feels very slow, but the tone is really bright, that doesn't fit together. And it actually causes this disjointed feeling in an artist when they sit down to play. So those two elements have to be very well joined. So we have the touch, we have the tone, and then we have the dampering system, right? So we want it to stop. And we want all that tone to stop as evenly as possible. And the pedaling, and that's a separate system that is very challenging and very maddening, I'd say, of all the aspects that piano techs work with. And then, finally, there's the tuning, which is basically like a big Tetris puzzle where we put together all these intervals, seconds, thirds, fourths, tenths, twelfths, et cetera, and duplicate it up and down the keyboard so that it fits together to make beauty. So that's a little bit about what goes on behind. And curiously, I view pianos not to be inanimate, but actually animate objects that have these personalities. And so I feel like a lot of my job is to really bring out the inner voice in a piano. And that's where artists, depending on what they're playing or their proclivity for what they prefer in a piano, some pianos are better suited than others for what they may want on stage. And that's where we work with them very closely after we finish prepping a piano to fine-tune the touch, the tone, maybe make it a little faster, a little bit slower, a little bit brighter, change a little note. And artists often don't have language of technical capability, for example. So they may say, and this is a truth, I feel very tired when I play here. And so part of my job is actually interpreting those kinds of emotional responses to a keyboard and to the instrument and turning that into mechanical reality. So it's quite a bit of work, and we're very much behind the scenes, and you may see us come out and tune here and there at intermission or beforehand. So many hours go into the piano preparation for each performance.